Really enjoying a January thaw here. I'd almost think it was the tropics, especially after what we've gone through. Not all that warm, I'm just joking. I guess it got up to around 9 degrees a day or so ago, but it's staying above freezing even at night, so it's a genuine January thaw. I'm going to take you out right now to the hoop house for a look around. The door finally opened, so I can get in there. And then we'll come back here and have a look at how things are progressing in the grow room. And for lunch, I'm going to have spätzle, so I'm cooking spätzle with you this afternoon. I'll be right back after we go to the hoop house. Well, it's the middle of January today, January 15th, and we are in the midst of a January thaw, which has been greatly appreciated after the temperatures that we had in December and the early part of January. For the past week, or close to the past week or so, it's been above freezing in the daytime and is supposed to carry on for a few more days yet. And a couple of nights now it's been stayed above freezing overnight. I'm in the hoop house. The door finally opened for me, so I'll give you a look at the fig trees, and then I'm going to do some pruning on the grapevines, and I'm out of here. But that's one of the reasons why I'm glad to be in here. What we're looking at here is the bags of the kind of potting mix that I use in my containers. A little garden center here at the grocery store had some left over, and he put them on special in the fall, buy two, get one free, so I guess that means they're a third off. I think during the summer, even though they're not damaged bags or anything, there's small holes in them for breathing or whatever, and during all the rainy weather they certainly absorbed a lot of moisture. They weigh a good twice as much as they normally did, and they've been frozen solid. Anyway, I was able to get one of them out of here finally and put it up in the basement to thaw out, because soon I will have to transplant all those pepper plants into something larger, and glad I didn't have to go buy anything to do it with. I now have one of these going. Let's have a look at the fig trees. Not so sure that I've taken any video in here since I put the second covering on them. They've got spun bonded row cover underneath of these old bed comforters, whatever, summer weight comforters. And the thermometer, the sensor, has said that it has never gone below plus 3 degrees. Right now under there, I just checked, it's plus 7, and the atmospheric temperature outside here is about 3. So it's, according to the sensor anyway, it's been keeping it quite warm under there. I'll take the covering off and we can have a look at them here. Yeah, the buds are looking nice and green and fresh. Nothing has frozen yet. Either zoom in on some of those or move this over. See how this works. I think that shows them. That one there shows up a little better, I think. I've been wondering all along if the sensor hasn't been too close to the electric cable, and you can see there it's actually touching the electric cable, so that's not giving a terribly accurate reading, but I still think it's managed to keep it above freezing in there. I think before I cover them back up I will move the sensor a little bit to make the readings a little more accurate from now on. But as of right now anyway, all the buds look nice green and fresh, and nothing has started to break bud, which is good. You don't want that to happen in the wintertime. And I'm not so sure what we're looking at. I'll go over and have a closer look right there. I don't know if that might be where a fig starts, or well, that's the grapevines as I left them last fall, and all the leaves didn't even fall off, but I'm going to prune them back to the main branch, the main vine that came up from the ground. I've been over and checked, and that branch has lots of buds on it where they can grow more side growth in in the spring and summer, hopefully. No great expert on pruning grapes, but that's what I plan to do anyway. You see the little forest of sticks between here and there. That's all of my bamboo canes I stuck in the soil in here, and they're frozen in. I just tried to remove them, but I can't do it. So let's get the pruning over with here. Well, I don't suppose that's perfect, but since I don't know what I'm doing, it's as good as it's going to get, I guess. I've removed all the side branching, or at least 99% of it. I still see some smaller twigs that I'll clip off at some point. The remaining leaves are actually stuck to the plastic on the side of the hoopos here. But anyway, I also learned a lesson a number of years back about what to do with branches pruned off in the wintertime. I piled them outside. They were not out of the hoopos anyway, but they were off apple trees and whatever. Encouraged the bunny rabbits to come eat them, which I thought was funny, let them have it. Well, once they finished those, they thought, that's good, let's move on and find something else here, and they destroyed 3 apple trees. So the branches will stay in here until spring, and then I'll get rid of them, I guess. And let's go have a look and see what's happening in the grow room. Well, in my last clip a week or so ago here, I planted some chive seeds, a new variety that I've never grown before anyway, called broadleaf chives. And they've started to come up quite nicely. And as you can see, I'm using my numbered tag system here. So if you any of the tags that you see, I'll put the plant list once again below this video. I've raised the lights up, hopefully get a better look at the peppers this time. The last video I wasn't very happy with the results, but once again the numbers refer to the varieties. I'm using the seaweed liquid fertilizer, and I think having pretty good success with it. There's something happening that sort of got me baffled. The first plant on the left there is a Thai chili, and so is the one next to it. Seeds planted the same day, seeds out of the same hot pepper, planted in the same soil mixture, and getting the same amount of water and nutrients. The one on the left is nice and green, the one on the right is quite yellow. Although since I've started using the seaweed fertilizer, they have started to get a little greener, but I don't understand why that happened. I guess it happened down here to one of the cayennes too, but just scan down here and give you a look at them. Haven't done any pruning on them yet, Stephen, and so far they're in these 3 or 4 inch pots. Those are the cayennes there. That seems to be the ones that are growing the largest right now anyway. Well, let's have a look down below at the cucumber. Well, all of the cucumbers that are remaining on the vine here have started to grow nicely, so that's encouraging. I did finally prune off the end and all the side growth. To give you an idea of the size, I'll put my finger down there. I don't know, I guess they're not a large cucumber anyway, but I would say that's probably about quarter size of what they are when they're full grown. I'll zoom back here and give you a look at the plant. I've removed all of the lettuce plants, so it doesn't have any competition anymore anyway. And it's quite encouraging that it's growing a few cucumbers. Well, that will do for the little update from the grow room. I won't bother to show you the Italian parsley. The light isn't on right now. It's the time when it's off for its 6 hours anyway. But the poor thing is looking kind of straggly, and it's not the plant's fault. Every time it grows 2 or 3 leaves, I cut them off and use them. So it is really producing for me. That's the main thing, I guess. Well, lunch today is going to be spaetzle. I think I'm pronouncing that right, but I wouldn't guarantee it. It's a German Bavarian type of pasta, which is sort of twice cooked. You cook it in water, salted water, and then you saute it in butter and herbs. At any rate, it's fairly easy to make. That's a cup of all-purpose flour. Into the cup of all-purpose flour goes half a teaspoon of salt, which I'm not actually measuring. This is a sea salt that I'm using. Oh, sorry, I think I goofed there just a bit. Whoa, throwing everything on the ground here. That was supposed to be a teaspoon of salt, so put a couple of more grinds in there, I guess. The half teaspoon is black pepper. And then a half teaspoon of nutmeg. Freshly ground nutmeg, so much better than that pre-ground stuff that you buy in the stores. Mix the dry ingredients together. Sort of a cavity in the middle. And in goes a quarter of a cup of milk and 2 large eggs, which have been whisked or beaten together. And now you just sort of gently combine them. That isn't completely combined. Still see some flour in there. But the next part of the process is to let it rest for 15 minutes, and during that time it will hydrate the remaining flour with the egg and milk mixture. In the meantime, I've got a large stock pot on the boil, salted water. So we'll come back after this has rested for 15 minutes. Well, the batter has rested for 15 minutes. Now I'm going to put some of it in the potato ricer. And once again, I have the grate in the bottom of the ricer that has the largest holes. There goes that pepper mill that I'm always knocking over. And now we'll put some in the water over here and see what happens. Well, the salted water is boiling quite well. We'll see if we can't get some spaetzle in it. That's it for that particular lot anyway. Now you let it boil for 3 to 4 minutes until they float at least. I'll come back in 3 or 4 minutes when they're ready to be removed. And those have all come to the surface and they've been cooking for about 4 minutes, I think. It smells very good. I can smell the nutmeg. And colander here over a bowl if I can get it in my hand. Just removing them to a colander, and then I will run cold water over them to stop the cooking process and to prevent them from clumping together while I cook the rest of them. So we'll come back after I've got the rest of them all. The final phase is to saute the spaetzle in butter, which I'm browning on purpose. Give it a little color. There's a fine line between browning and burning, so you have to watch that, I guess. You just want to reheat the spaetzle. and let it pick up a little color. I'll come back when I'm ready to put it in the plate and taste it here. That only took 2 or 3 minutes. The spaetzle has taken on some color from the brown butter and also has browned a bit in the pan. I don't know if I mentioned or not, I think I did, but I'm not sure. The herbs that I used were rosemary and sage, the only 2 fresh herbs that I had available. The recipe for this suggested chives. Well, as you just saw in my update from the grow room, my chives have just barely germinated and it's winter. There are none out in the garden. To this I'm adding something that I'm sure a German probably would not add, but since it's pasta I'm going to have some Parmesan on it, grated Parmesan cheese. Now let's give this a little taste. Very good. I'll taste the herbs and the cheese, and I can also taste the nutmeg in the background there. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you'll give this a try. I'll see you next time.